Today I'm excited to talk about some of this I'm very, very, very passionate about, and I think it's so incredible just to see and to understand. So giving a little bit of background, at least for today for me, I listen to the Allison Show podcast, or Awesome with Allison, I guess it's called. And I love it. I love her podcast. Her and Eric, her husband, do such a phenomenal job. And today I listened to one about self-doubt, about crippling self-doubt. And I myself go through that all the time. I know a lot of us go through things like that, and it's pretty common. And sometimes it's hard to see a way out of that. And it was just that was just an eye-opener for me today, and just remembrance of a lot of times in sessions that I've had. A loved one will come through, and I see a lot of it when they want to relay a question. A lot of times our angels, I have kind of like a set language or like a set understanding that they can communicate with me through. So I'm a very visual person, so they talk to me through visuals. And one of the visuals that they talk about is a tornado. So it's like when you see a tornado, everything's like spinning around you. So there's the eye of the tornado where if you look straight up, it's completely clear and everything else is like surrounding you. And I've used that visual in a lot of different ways and a lot of different instances. But I was thinking about that today as they were talking about self-doubt and crippling self-doubt. And it reminded me of a session that I had with a woman who was trying to figure out what she wanted to do in life and what her purpose and passion was, because she had been going throughout different opportunities with different people and businesses, and she didn't know what she wanted in life, and she didn't know what she felt she was called to, but she just jumped into everyone else's ideas of what they wanted. And it was so incredible because it was like, how easy is it for us to get caught away in what the world wants of us, or what we think that others expect out of us, versus like what we actually really want. And it's the same thing with self-doubt, in the sense of, it's so easy for us to get caught away in the expectations of the world and what the world wants from us and what we think that we need, or what we need to do in this specific time frame, and it doesn't always work out that way. Most of the time it never works out that way, actually. And our timing is not God's timing, and it gets kind of frustrating because we think, oh, I should be doing this and this and this all at once, and it takes a lot longer than we even thought, or it doesn't even work out how we thought that it would. So with this visual with this woman, I believe it was one of her grandmas that came through and was just talking about how it's so important to figure out what we want in life and what we thrive for and what we feel like we need to do ourselves versus what everyone else is telling us to do. So it's taking time to understand and to write down things that we absolutely love, things that we feel we're called to do, and then putting that together. It's kind of a little jumbled, but it will make sense in the end. So just as it's so easy, so just think of being in the eye of the storm. This is a visual that they talked about, is being in the eye of the storm and stepping forward. Once you step forward and you aren't centered in the eye of the storm, when you're not like have that center, you're in the tornado and you're like whirling around and you're trying to figure out where you're at. You're trying to figure out what you want to do, and it's just easily swooping you away, versus when you step back and you're back into the center, you're safe. And the things might be, the tornadoes around you whirling around, but you're not caught up in that. You're yourself, you're holding your own, you're holding your boundaries. And that could be viewed as, when it comes to businesses or where it comes to self-doubt, is once we take a step back and we think for ourselves and we connect in with the higher power, we connect and we connect above, we align our chakras, we align our heart, we pray, we open that up, we open that connection up to God, to the higher power, to our great creator. It's like in the eye of the tornado, it's just like straight up. There's nothing that goes around us because we're centered in that. So it's so important that we're centered in our lives to figure out what we love and what we want to do and what we want to pursue. And that could be easily when it comes to relationships, when it comes to getting angry at somebody, needing to come through something, needing to overcome fights with somebody, instead of being in your ego, instead of allowing anger to set you off and to bring you into this whirl. You take time to step back, to connect in, to look above, to connect to our great creator, versus looking around. And I know myself, I get caught up in what the world wants or what other people think I should be doing. So I take a step into the tornado and I view what other people's ideas are versus like me taking time to connect above. And I love that saying that says, it's better to look up than to look out. And it's so easy for us nowadays, especially in the world of social media, to look to other people's successes and compare ourselves to what we haven't done. And I love in their podcast, because Allison talks about her experience. She's very successful, and she talks about how it's taken her like years and years and years to get to where she's at, and it's not a life, it's not like a step thing. And she says that she's still not where she wants to be. There's still so many things that she wants to do, but it just is a matter of taking time to do it. So instead of comparing ourselves to others and what others think we should do, what others want us to do, what others are accomplishing, it's taking time for us to take a step back, to really think about it, to pray about it, to inwardly look to see where we're at, what we need to accomplish, and what we want to succeed with. And as we do that, we're aligned with God, we're aligned with our Creator, we're in the center of that tornado. So we can look up clearly and not have anything around us, because even the world is crazy, there's so many things going on. We're centered, we're being who we are, we're being what we're called to do. And that was a huge reminder for me today, and I just love that, and that's so true. And I know that as we seek inward, as we pray, as we meditate, as we ground ourselves, whatever that may be, if you don't know exactly what that is for yourself, then I would just encourage you to try to figure that out and take time to really focus on what that could be, because I know as we do that, we can accomplish major and amazing things, and we won't be alone. And we can find courage and confidence knowing that, yeah, we're imperfect, our struggles are real, but we have a higher power, we have a higher purpose, we have a higher God with us that's working through us and is helping us to move forward, so it's not about us in the end. And surrounding ourselves with good things. Yeah, it's good to get advice from other people, it's good to seek counsel, it's good to listen to audiobooks or read scriptures or listen to podcasts, because those things help us to see things in a different way. But what it comes down to is taking time to apply it to our life, taking time to meditate upon how it can apply. After every reading, I ask people to take time to write down what they've thought about, what they've learned, and make a video or just talk it out. Because as we take time to ponder and to pray and to meditate on information and insight that we've been given, it can become integrated into who we are, and it can help us to move forward. And that's what it's about, is about applying those things to our life and introspectively doing that, instead of going out to everyone else to do it, but to introspectively look into ourselves and to see where we're at, to check in with our heart, check in with our higher power, our higher purpose, and to go from there. Because as we do that, we're living a heart full of passion, and we are understanding and trusting ourselves and using our intuition and the Spirit to teach us. Because we can listen to so many people everywhere, but what it comes down to is what we individually feel ourselves, our worth is, and what we can stand for. So it's just a reminder to check into ourselves, and instead of being in the storm, we can be in the center of the storm, where everything else might be going wrong or things are crazy, but also really good, because there's so many good things in life. Life is meant to be enjoyed, and life is so good. And I know that I just am so grateful for that knowledge, and I love that visual that I know a lot of different angels use to communicate, because that's how I view things visually, to communicate those passages and to communicate those messages to them. So I think it's powerful. But just remember today that it's okay to be yourself, and it's okay to love who you are. And it's okay to be in the storm, and it's okay to be not in the storm. We don't need to be in the storm to succeed. And I've had that mentality of like, oh, sometimes I feel like if I'm not struggling, then I'm not going forward. And I can't go forward unless I struggle. And that's not always true. We can struggle and we can learn things, but we don't have to always be struggling for things to work out for us. We can have things come to us as we are working our hardest on our part, but then giving the rest up to our God, as well as to our angels to help us, because they all work together. That's their purpose, is to work together with God to move forward his work. So with that, I will also link the podcast in the below, because it's seriously so amazing, and I think that everybody needs to hear it. Anyways, hope you have a great day. Thanks.